Nalanda was more than a place of learning. It was a vision brought to life in brick and stone.
For centuries, it stood as a testament to human intellect and the pursuit of truth. Scholars from across Asia journeyed here, seeking knowledge.
The university was a city of monasteries, temples, and meditation halls. Its red brick stupas reached for the sky, silent sentinels of peace.
Here, the greatest minds gathered to debate and understand existence.
On this day, July 25th, 2025, we remember when the storm broke, extinguishing one of the world's brightest lights. End scene 1. The attack came without warning, a brutal intrusion into a world of quiet contemplation.
The silence was shattered. Hoofbeats thundered through the darkness. Shouts in a foreign tongue sliced the air. The invaders had arrived.
They were a whirlwind of steel and fury, smashing open the gates with terrifying ease.
Panic erupted. Monks ran from their quarters, faces masks of disbelief and terror.
The invaders, fierce horsemen from the Turkic lands led by Bakhtiyar Khilji, swarmed the courtyards and cloisters.
The monks were scholars, not soldiers. They had no defense against the invaders' blades. Some tried to reason, others ran, but there was nowhere to escape.
The night was filled with the sounds of splintering wood, the clash of metal, and terrified screams.
Amid the chaos, a few monks turned their thoughts to a greater treasure, the libraries. Their mission to save the wisdom of centuries.
They scrambled to gather precious scrolls, knowing that if the books burned, the soul of Nalanda would die with them.
Each manuscript was a universe of thought, a lifetime of learning. They were trying to save a dying star from collapsing into a black hole of ignorance. End scene 2.
The heart of Nalanda was its great library, the Dharma Ganja, Treasury of Truth. 3 magnificent structures, Ratnasagara, Ratnodadi, and Ratnaranjaka.
Within lay the greatest collection of Buddhist literature and secular knowledge in the world. 9 million manuscripts, painstakingly copied by hand.
As the invaders stormed the campus, the libraries became their primary target. Torches were thrown through the windows.
Flames devoured the scrolls. The fire consumed philosophy, logic, medicine, astronomy. Ideas turned to smoke and ash.
The 9-story tower of Ratnasagara became a colossal torch, lighting up the night sky. The towers began to collapse, entire floors plunging into the inferno.
The air was thick with smoke, a funeral pyre for an entire civilization's intellectual heritage.
Monks made desperate attempts to salvage what they could, darting into burning buildings, emerging with arms full of scrolls.
Some managed to escape with precious bundles, but for every manuscript saved, thousands were lost.
The invaders watched, unable to comprehend they were witnessing the destruction of a world. End scene 3.
The destruction was not swift. The fires raged for months, fed by the immense volume of manuscripts.
Tibetan historian Taranatha wrote that the smoke from the burning manuscripts hung over the ruins for months.
A river of ink formed from millions of characters mixed with ashes and blood, staining the earth, a physical manifestation of the tragedy.
Burning pages floated through the sky like black butterflies, carrying the last words of ancient sages into the night.
A peasant miles away might see a fragment of a philosophical debate drift down, a final unintelligible message from a dying world.
The intricate calligraphy would be visible for a moment before crumbling into dust.
The physical destruction was absolute. The red brick viharas were reduced to charred skeletons, their ornate carvings blackened and cracked.
The serene statues of the Buddha were toppled and smashed. The invaders showed no mercy for men or art.
The tranquil lotus ponds were choked with debris and corpses. The gardens were trampled and burned.
This was more than the destruction of a university. It was a cultural lobotomy, the deliberate excision of a center of thought that had illuminated Asia for centuries.
The intricate chains of intellectual lineage were brutally severed. The fire burned not just books, but the connections between them.
It destroyed a whole ecosystem of learning, a web of knowledge woven over nearly a millennium.
The architect of this devastation was Ikhtiar al-Din Muhammad Bakhtiyar Khilji, a Turkic general in the service of the Ghurid Sultanate.
Khilji was a fierce warrior from the steppes, for whom the sword was the ultimate arbiter of truth.
According to Persian historian Minhaj-i-Siraj, Khilji mistook the university for a fortress and the monks for Brahmans, idolaters to be destroyed.
There was no attempt at understanding, the order was given to attack. His horsemen fell upon the monastic community with shocking savagery.
Minhaj recounts that after the conquest, Khilji sought someone to explain the books he had captured, but there was no one left who could read them.
The conqueror stood surrounded by intellectual treasures, blind to their value.
The story, whether literally true or not, captures a profound truth: the violent ignorance of the conqueror in the face of wisdom he could not comprehend.
Khilji's campaign swept through Bihar and Bengal, destroying monasteries and temples. Nalanda was the greatest, but not the only center to fall.
This wave of destruction marked a turning point, extinguishing the flame of institutional Buddhism in its birthplace.
The fury of one man and his army had undone the patient work of centuries. End scene 5.
Imagine the chaos of that night, the air thick with a symphony of screams.
Young novices shrieked in terror. Monks cried out in pain. Invaders shouted in a language of violence.
Beneath it all, the roar of the fire, a constant, hungry sound consuming the world.
The monks, who had dedicated their lives to understanding suffering, were now plunged into its most visceral form.
They saw their teachers and friends fall beside them.
The principles of non-violence and compassion were met with incomprehensible brutality.
Students and scholars from distant lands found themselves trapped in this nightmare.
For the few who survived, returning to Nalanda was a walk through a graveyard.
The great halls were now open to the sky, their pillars, broken floors covered in ash.
The sorrow was a crushing burden for a lost home, a lost family, and a lost world. End scene 6.
The tragedy of Nalanda reminds us to be guardians of knowledge, to protect our shared heritage, and ensure the fires of intolerance never again consume the libraries of the world. Today, Nalanda's ruins stand as a silent memorial, a testament to both its glory and its fall. Yet, a new Nalanda University has risen nearby, a gesture of hope that what was lost can be reborn. The world mourns Nalanda not just for what it was, but for what we lost with it. Its fall is a powerful symbol, the fragility of knowledge and the vulnerability of civilization.